Hey guys, this is Dreadbane joined by Sapphire. This is game 3 of the King of the Hill. Now, Az is playing the red Protoss, and Kowi is playing the yellow Protoss. Now, this is Delta Quadrant. Now, what have we just watched? I think Kowi's actually got a really good lead so far.
Yeah, Cowie's playing really, really strong and really executing so well. And once again, his infamous Stalker micro has just carried him 2 games in a row right now. Both of them with super crazy endings. So, really excited for game 3 here. Cowie is up 2-0 in this best of 7 for the King of the Hill, Australasia. And so far, Az hasn't had an answer for him. And we do notice that Az has gone the color red now as opposed to his typical blue, so maybe he's angry and he's got his serious game on. So we all know that going red as Protoss gives you that extra advantage, so we are looking for big things from Az this game.
It's a shame he didn't go green, then I'd be able to make even worse jokes. But we'll have to see if there's any change up, because so far just crazy games going up so far. So um, really, we'll have to see if there's a double gateway or any proxy piloting. As tried to before, but really his probe got caught. So, yeah, I don't know. As just really on the back foot so far. I thought he had him a couple games there, but really Cowie with his Stalker micro, just amazing to watch. He doesn't really need much more than Stalkers. Even in the face of all these Immortals, which obviously do so much damage, really didn't mind. He was able to focus them down, blink out of harm's way, and really just fantastic play.
Yeah, very similar builds right now. Cowie going for 12 gate into 14 gas, whereas Az went for 13 gate into 15 gas. So very similar, a little bit slower there for Az, looking to get that extra probe advantage, and Cowie's going for a little bit faster timing and sacrificing that probe. So, but very similar right now, looking for big deviations from now on. Az getting this probe sandwich, got to be careful that he doesn't lose that probe. You can sometimes, between macroing in your base and microing on your drone, especially back and forthing a bit, that you can actually lose that sometime there. But Az is too good for that. He's way on the ball. We're seeing this Chrono Boosted Zealot rallied all the way into Az's base, so Az may have some early pressure to deal with that he's been throwing at Cowie, so he may have to deal with that. Meanwhile, Cowie is being a little bit annoying and working on this pylon. It really does not pay to be a pylon when there's Az and Cowie in the game, because basically you're going to be annoyed and zapped, and their poor shields are just going to be constantly worked on. Meanwhile, Cowie bringing this Chrono Boosted Zealot to work on his destructible rocks, so could see some kind of map-based strategy here that's specific to Delta Quadrant, because you do have this expansion which is not your natural. Your natural is outside there, but you have this pocket expansion off your base that's completely isolated. There is cliffs behind it, so it's vulnerable to harassment, but once these rocks are down, it does not have an open pathway. It has to be dropped or attacked by air or some kind of warp in from this ramp behind. But in terms of just an open attack, there's only the main ramp to your base, so taking your natural can be a little bit harder to defend, because there is this huge open space and there's so many alleyways for them to attack. They can just choose to ignore your natural and go right into your ramp, so really annoying to attack them. Meanwhile, Az pushing out right here, we're seeing this Stalker and the Zealot coming in, so Cowie forced to bring his own Stalker and Zealot off that destructible rocks. Az and working on these probes right here. Zealot gets around it. It did get one probe, looking like it's got 2 probes now. 1 kill for the Stalker, so 3 probes have gone down. Looking like that Zealot trying to get the 4th kill, but will not get it. Desperately running away, now working on the Stalker, but Az loses the Stalker and the Sentry, but he got 4 probes from that. 3 kills on the Zealot, 1 kill on the Stalker right there. So a little bit of a loss there for Cowie, and he's already harassed. Just looking at the income tab, we are seeing that 3 gap, so they were very even on harvesters, but now Az has knocked 3 of Cowie's harvesters off at the cost of a Zealot and a Stalker, so pretty good harassment there by Az, and we are seeing Cowie continue to work on these rocks. Meanwhile, Az has thrown down that robotics facility that he absolutely loves getting, throwing down another gateway here, so he's got 3 gate and robo, so it was 2 gate into robo and now getting his 3rd gateway. Meanwhile, Cowie still working on these rocks, not interested in pushing out, looking like he's just going to defend with those Stalkers and try and get that expansion online as quick as possible. And finally, we are seeing Cowie bring online Immortals, but now Az has his first Immortal already out, and a Robotics Bay plus a Warp Prison going down for Az, so looking like he's possibly exploring Colossi there, as well as looking to do harassment on this expansion with the Warp Prism. So already seeing some deviation from both players.
Kowi putting a little sneaky pylon up the top there too. Uh, that's kind of crazy. He just walked up there. I wonder if Azz actually knows about this. It does look like he does. He's moving his forces over there to destroy this as right now. But a little sneaky there, trying to do something different. As really they look very similar. It looks like that, you know, both Immortals, both Stalkers, as Kowi is now pushing forward before any of these Colossi can get out from the looks of things.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there by Kowi. He was looking for that pylon to warp in, but now that he's lost it, he is supply blocked. So this is a bit of a mistake. While we see a Warp Prism swinging across the map for Kowi. Kowi trying to push in. Nice force fields isolating Kowi's army, losing the top Stalker. His army cannot get in. This Immortal and Stalker here for Azz, all that's really defending, and they're able to work on this army from Kowi. Kowi does have the unit advantage, and we are seeing this Sentry being warped in for Azz, this Immortal holding the line as he focuses down one of the Stalkers, and we're seeing this Sentry try and work on this Zealot. Immortal almost down, pulling back, Azz falling victim to Kowi's Immortal right here as Kowi pushes out. Azz loses that Immortal, while Kowi somehow saves his own Immortal 2 hit points as they work on this Zealot. Will this Zealot get some Immortal? Looking like he might get there. Finally, Azz gets his Colossi out, which is going to prove all the difference. Somehow, that Immortal lives up to its name and survives, but Azz has his Colossi out. Meanwhile, we are seeing Kowi trying to bring on this expansion, and Azz has this Warp Prism doing harassment at the back of Kowi's base at the same time. So, lots of action already in this game.
How did that Immortal survive? He's got 2 health and 4 kills. What a beast of an Immortal there. It's a shame Protoss can't heal him up, because he's going to be stuck with 2 health for a while. So, we'll have to see what this works out to be. Kowi does have an Observer actually sitting right on top of Azz's base, as so he actually knows exactly what's going on, as Azz is actually warping in some Stalkers up by Kowi's expansion. Not in range though, so that's one Stalker up the top there, not going to be in range, as this one Zealot down the bottom is actually going to start going into these probes right now. Really we'll have to see how this works out, because it's really stopping all mining at Kowi's expansion, even for a couple seconds there, as these Stalkers have to move over, as Azz is really still working on his own indestructible rocks. So really the decision to get those rocks early for Kowi proving quite handy so far.
Yeah, interesting deviation for Kowi, throwing down that Stargate, looking to get Phoenix out as he tries to counter the Colossi that Azz is continuing to produce, pulling his Warp Prism back though, as that harassment does end, so Kowi does get his expansion going. But that Zealot that Azz warped in was able to get 4 kills, as we see Kowi's Observer continue to go back and check out exactly what's going on as he gets those Phoenix to counter this heavy Colossi build coming out from Azz. Thermal Lance being researched now, just assuming that he would burn a few Chrono Boosts on that as he clears his expansion. But just looking at the income advantage, Kowi already starting to pull it away at 1,000 over 780, as we see this first Phoenix trying to see what it can snipe off, taking damage from the Stalker, looking like it's trying to get the Warp Prism, which is so low on health. But Azz pushing out here, not interested in playing games with this Phoenix and being boxed in. He's going to be aggressive, going to use his Colossi and force Kowi to defend. He does not have sentries in this army composition, so he cannot force field the ramp, but then again the Colossi can just trample them or walk up the cliff. So this is going to be a crucial fight for Kowi to execute out here. He does have 2 Phoenixes to try and work on these Colossi, but this Warp Prism, if it's able to be used effectively, will be able to reinforce this attack. Curious as to whether Kowi is going to focus down the Warp Prism or the Colossi. I would say the Warp Prism is the danger right there, as he pushes right into his base. Warp Prism, yes, and the Phoenixes do go for the Warp Prism. The Colossi spraying laser beams everywhere, working on Kowi's line. Kowi falling back, taking huge damage, while these Phoenixes try to work on these Colossi, but Azz unleashing so much pain right here, and Kowi calls GG, unable to do anything against those Colossi, and those Phoenixes just came too little too late.
Those Colossi, so brutal. In just one small skirmish, they had all the kills in that fight, 3 and 2 respectively. Really, a really good choice by Azz. Even with those Phoenixes, he was able to push out before those Phoenixes could mass up and do a lot of damage to his army. So, yeah, great counter there by Azz. He's back in this tournament, this series.
Yep, it's now 2-1, so Azz claws the game back, and he's got to be feeling like his confidence restored. So maybe the answer was being the color red all along. Game 4 time.